All right. Now we're back. We are back in the zone. And last time, what we did, I took y'all through some remodeling of the level, so I got my spikes looking nice. They can give you some damage, but there's a lot of jank going on here, and I don't like jank. So what we're gonna do in this episode is we're gonna clean up the jank, and what I want to show you while we're cleaning up the jank is how to kill the character. Right? We want to execute them. Like whenever they die, we need to make them die, and we need to make them respawn at a checkpoint. So let's say we have a checkpoint here. She dies, but I'm jumping on the spikes. Well, she dies. There's something that comes on the screen that says dead, and then she respawns at the checkpoint. We need to make that happen. But in order to make that happen, what we need to do is we need to actually fix up our game. So you see how we have a third person character. We need to transfer a lot of this stuff to the game mode in order for what we're about to do to work correctly. So let's go through and fix up our game mode. So click on let me show you again. In your third person blueprints folder, right beside your third person BP, there should be a third person game mode. Double click on that and open up the full editor. Now on the inside of here, what we're going to do first is we're going to right click and we're going to make a custom event. This custom event is going to be called Respawn Player. Now, we don't have to do anything with that right now, but we'll come back to it in 1 second. Before we get started though, let's go to our variables here in our game mode, and let's add the following variables. Let's add a current health, just like in our player, and we need it to be a float, so the green. And then you can compile that and set your current health to 100, like that's what we had it set as, and then duplicate that and call this one max health. Okay, and when you compile that, it should also be set at 100. Good. And we need current mana and max mana as well, so duplicate that 2 more times and we'll do current mana and duplicate again, max mana. Okay, compile and save. Now we need these because we're going to change everything over to the game mode. So inside of this respawn player that we've got over here, on the right hand side we need to add an input, and the input that we're going to add is a player character. So type player char, and instead of a boolean, search for character, and when you find the character, use the object reference. That's like a bug, you have to do it twice, but use the object reference. It should be blue. Compile and save. Now for our respawn player, what we want to do is first we want to drag off of here, and we want to get a delay, or you can hold D and left click. This delay is after they die, it's going to wait a moment before they respawn, and this delay is how long it's going to wait. So I'm going to give it about a good 2 seconds. And then what do we want to happen after they die? So we want it to wait for a second, and then we want like the widget to come on the screen like it says dead. So actually, let's create that. So before we move on, come to your content browser in your HUDs, and let's create a new widget blueprint. So down here in user interface, widget blueprint, and then we'll get the new widget blueprint. Alright, so I've got one right here. Let's open it up. Let's put a canvas panel on it. Okay, now on this canvas panel, we don't even need to do the size stuff. Let's come in here and just put a border on the canvas panel. Click on your border, and in the anchors, go to full screen. So that's the bottom right. Then make sure your offset right is at 0, and your offset bottom is also at 0. And it's going to cover the whole screen. And I want this to be black. So all I did to make it black was change the brush color. Next thing I want to do is add a text on top of the canvas panel. So make sure it's not on the border, make sure it's on the canvas panel. And this text, what we want to do is kind of make it bigger here. And in the text block, I'm going to write dead. Change the color to like red. And make it a little bit bigger. Also, I'm going to anchor it to the center of the screen. So I can move it right there. And now it's going to say dead. Okay, perfect. Compile, save. Let's rename this widget blueprint to dead. Dead underscore WB. Alright, save. Alright, now back in our game mode, what we want to do is delay, and we want to make that widget pop up on the screen. So create widget, and find the one you just made, which is called dead for me. And then we want to drag off the blue and say add to viewport. Perfect. After you got that, what you want to do is you want to spawn the actor. You know what I should do though? Actually, let's create the widget first. So when they die, the widget comes on the screen and then it delays. So just move that delay afterwards. And all I did to break those pins was hold Alt. Hold Alt, click, and they'll disappear. Anyways, do this here. Alright, cool. So you create the widget, you add it to the viewport, you wait 2 seconds while it's on there, and then what you want to do is you want to spawn, or after the 2 seconds is up, we can take that widget off. So let's get all widgets of class and take it off. So we'll just say remove from parent. Cool. So now we have our dead icon coming up to show that the player is dead, but now we need to respawn the player. So the next thing we need to do is say spawn actor from class. And the actor that we want to spawn is the third person character. Cool. Compile, save. You're going to get an error once you save that, and the reason why is because we got to fill out a couple of these things. So for the class, what you really could do is, since we have a player character here, we could say get class. This way, if you have multiple characters, you can change it up. So this is a cool thing to have. Just plug it into your class. And then spawn actor. We need the actor transform. In order to get the transform, we want to get that as a variable. So what I'll do is I'll drag off of here and promote it to a variable. And we can call it like respawn transform. Cool. Compile and save that. Now after the actor is spawned, we're not done. We have to possess it. So right click and say get player controller. And then you want to drag off of that and write possess. Cool. And in the pawn, you want the spawn actor, so hook that up too. Alright, next thing, after this, so after the player is respawned, we need their health and all that stuff to set back to 0. So we originally have all their health set up in a way that's not going to work with this. But what I'll do at the end of this is I'll show you what to do. So we're going to say set current health. So get this current health right here, drag it off, and set current health. And you want that current health to be set to the max health. So drag your max health off and set that. Also, you want your current mana to be set to the max mana. And this way, every time your player respawns after they die, their health and stuff will set back. But we haven't set all that up. But your game mode is set up properly. This is correct. So we don't have to mess with the game mode anymore. But what we need to do is go back and change everything over to the game mode. And I'll show you how to do that. So compile and save everything. And let's start off with the spikes. So click on your spikes here, and we'll go into the blueprint for them. And let's see what we have here. So it says when the third person overlaps it, then it's going to get their health and do all that stuff to their health. It's going to take off 50 of their health. Well, actually, let's make it so when the third person character overlaps it, cast a game mode. So third person game mode. Right there. And for the object, you just want to say get game mode. Cool. Now, what we need to do is replace this current health, and this current health with the game mode. So drag off your game mode and say get current health. And we can delete this one that's hooked up to the player character. Now hook this current health right into this minus, so it's going to say minus 50 from the current health, and then it's going to set the current health. So we need to delete that one and drag off of here and say set current health. So now all this is coming from the game mode, and we're going to set that to here and drag this pin to this less than or equal to and hook it up to your branch. Lastly, this one we can delete it, and we're going to take this one, copy and paste, hook it up to true, and hook your target all the way up to your game mode. And that way it's going to set the current health back to 0. Compile, save. So I think our spikes are set up correctly now. Let's save that. Okay. Next thing we need to do is let's go ahead and set up our HUD. So in our main HUD, go to Blueprints, HUDs, where's my main HUD at? Oh, my main HUD, sorry, I had a brain fart there. Okay, in our main HUD, we need to set this up too. So go to your graph over here. And in the event graph, we have it third person character. Okay, we don't even have to have that. We can unhook that and drag your event construct up. So first thing you want to do is cast to third person game mode. For the object, get game mode. Then what you want to do is drag off of here and promote it to a variable. We'll call this game mode ref. Okay, compile and save. Alright. Here, we need to fix the percentages. So back in your graph, you're going to have your get mana percentage and your get health percentage. So, should be both of them right here. This is the health. So right now it says character reference to the health. We need to delete all of that. And drag off your game mode reference. Get current health. And get max health. And then just hook those up instead. Perfect. Okay. And then do the same thing for your mana. Delete the character reference and do it from your game mode reference. Get game mode reference, get current mana, get max mana. And then hook the current to the top, max to the bottom. Perfect there. Now our HUD is set up correctly. So basically everything's hooked up to our game mode there. Spikes are hooked up to the game mode. What else needs to be hooked up to the game mode? The lava. But before we do the lava, let's go into our player character and do some things here. So in your player character here, go to your event graph. What we need to do is we need to create a destroy actor, but we need to do it in a different way. So in your functions over here, in the override, we want to use destroy actor. It will be called destroyed, and you'll get event destroyed. Now, what we want to do from event destroyed is we want to set up the code to destroy the actor. So the way that we'll do that is right here. We're going to cast to our game mode. So I always say cast, but just write in third person and you can find that game mode very easy. For the object, obviously we're going to get game mode. And then after that, we're going to respawn the player. Because remember, in our game mode, if you can look here, in our game mode, there is this function that we created called respawn the player. So drag off of here and just say respawn player. Perfect. And what we need to do from there is we can get the self as the player character. So the player character is going to be whatever character is the player character. So drag off that and say self. So now anytime we type in destroy actor, then this will happen here. And that's exactly what we needed to happen. Now there's a few more things that we gotta do. We have to go back and we have to set our spawn point. So what we'll do is compile and save. Let's set up a spawn point, so a checkpoint basically. Whenever they walk into this area, it's gonna make a checkpoint, and if they die anywhere else, then they'll respawn right here. So drag off a trigger box, and let's make this our checkpoint. Now, I want it to cover the whole door so that they can't miss it. But you can't, I wouldn't advise using the scale. I would advise using the box extent. So move your box extent so that it covers that. Alright, cool. Now we need to make this a blueprint. So click there, put it in the correct folder that you would like it in. Mine's going to be in third person characters, blueprints, triggers. Okay, I'll call this first checkpoint. Select. Okay, it's going to open this up. Now, on the inside of your checkpoint, what you want to do is go to your event graph. From the other actor, cast it a third person character. So when the third person character overlaps this, then what we want to happen is to third person game mode. So cast to your third person game mode. From the object, get game mode. And when they overlap it, we want to, from the game mode, we want to set that spawn transform. So set the respawn transform. And if you remember, in the game mode, we made respawn transform. So it should be right here. Set respawn transform. Boom. Now, where do we want to set it to? That's a good question. Drag off your third person character and say get actor transform. And you could just plug it right on up, compile, and save. Basically, what's going to happen here is when they walk into the checkpoint, it's going to tell the game mode where to respawn the player at, and it's going to set that as the place to respawn them. And that's pretty cool. We're done with that. Game mode is set up right. We're done with that. Third person character, we've got the destroy actor. We need to call the destroy actor here. So where will we call it at? Let's go to our 10% damage, and on the end here just write destroy actor, and let's make sure this is all set up correctly, which it's not. Alright, so let's set the 10% up correctly. first of all, for your 10% damage, let's go ahead and change it to the game mode. So cast the third person game mode. Get game mode. Okay. And then instead of this current health, we delete it. Instead of this current health, we delete it. From here, we say get current health. Plug that here. And we also say set current health. And plug that into there. Plug this current health into this top one here. Set the current health as this number. From the current health, plug it into this condition and the branch. Lastly, at the end, we need to delete this current health and set the current health from the game mode to 0 if it's true. And then we're going to destroy the actor. Compile, save. Remember, when we destroy the actor, what's going to happen is it's going to cast to our game mode and it's going to respawn the player. And when it respawns the player, it's going to create the widget, it's going to wait 2 seconds, it's going to take the widget off, and then it's going to spawn the actor, spawn the character wherever the checkpoint is. Then it's going to allow us to possess the character and set their stats back to 100. So that looks really, really good. What we can do is make sure your 50% damage, if you set that up, make sure you have it set up the same way. So just in case, I'm gonna set mine up here. So third person game mode, get game mode, and then we're going to drag off of here and say get current health. And also set current health. And also another set current health. Alright, so plug this one here. After this one, we can say destroy actor. Alright, for this current health at the beginning, plug it to the top. Also, plug it to this top. Cool. Plug this set in, plug that there, plug this into the condition on the top, and hook your branch up. Cool. Now our 10% and 50% is transferred over to our game mode. So all of our health and all of that stuff is going through the game mode. And this is really cool because whenever we respawn the player, it's all gonna transfer over. Let's go back to our event graph, make sure everything is set up here. 10%, 50%. Last thing I think we did not fix was the lava trigger. So the lava. Let's make sure our lava trigger is set up correctly too. So in third person blueprint, I don't remember where I put my lava trigger. It should be environmental maybe. No. We could change our fireballs though. Let's go into our fireballs BP and make sure that everything is set up here. That's the event begin play. Here is the overlap. So what's happening here, it's taking 25 off the health. Alright, let's change that to the game mode. So from the player character, third person game mode, get game mode. Okay, and then now instead of all of these healths coming from the player character, let's make it so that they all come from the game mode. So I'll move that back. Alright, so delete this one, and we're going to get current health from the game mode. Plug that into this, and then we're going to set the current health from the game mode. Perfect. And what you want that current health to be is this number here. Now, if the condition of this current health is less than or equal to 0, then we want to go through that branch and we want to set the current health. So drag off the game mode and say set current health to 0. So leave it alone and plug it to true. After you've done that, we could say destroy the actor. So that's good for your fireball. The actor that we want to destroy is the player character. So drag off a third person character and destroy that actor. Boom. Boom. So if the health is less than 0, destroy the actor. Perfect. Let's find our lava trigger. What you want to do is make sure that's set up in your second fireball as well. Because if it's not going to work right. So I'll do mine off the camera because you guys get the idea by now. But I want to show you something in the lava trigger. So let me find my lava trigger. Is it here? No. This is my fault for not being organized, but here's how you find it easier. So we've got our little trigger here. Oh, it would be I know exactly where it's at. Alright, so our lava trigger, let's go into our blueprint class. Okay, inside of here, this is set up a little bit awkward. What we need to do is set this up a little bit different. In our lava trigger, because we want it to continuously like tick down, but this is kind of weird. Let's set up a function here. So in our lava trigger, which if you don't know where that's at, let's browse. Mine's sitting right here in the blueprints, lava trigger. Okay. And close that down. Okay. In your lava trigger, let's put in a function. So on the functions, press plus right here. And we're going to call this damage. So this is a damage function that we'll add in here. And what we want to do is cast it a third person character. Watch this. So third person character. And off the object say get player character. Alright, and then we want to drag off of here and say take 10% damage. Alright, so that's our damage function for the lava, right? Back in the event graph for the lava, we need to replace that. Take 10% damage coming off the character. So if the character is overlapping, we want to set in lava. Then we want to go to the branch and see if they're in lava. And if they are in lava, we'll just drag off the damage function, hook that up, and then we can hook that up to our delay. And it's going to wait like 0.1 seconds or however long you have it. I'm going to say 0.2. 0.1 is actually good for me because I don't want them to abuse the lava. So it's going to wait 0.1 seconds, check and see if they're in lava again, and then take the damage away again. So cool. This damage is native to here, which basically the function's calling out to our third person character. So let's double check our 10% damage. Let's go into the game mode. So that's perfect. Let's test out everything. Let's see if I missed anything. I think I really covered it all. But let's test it out. So, press play. Drops in. She goes to here. Choose path 1 for sure. Door disappears. Now, we walk through the trigger. That means the checkpoint should be set. We have our sword. Let's go in the lava. Lava's eating us alive. 10% damage. Oh, we're dead. Here's what we didn't do. So, in our game mode, I know exactly what happened. In the game mode, we forgot to hook up here. Get all widgets of class. Which ones do we want? We want the dead widget. There we go. Save. Let's try it one more time, and I think that will end the video. I showed you how to respawn. So, walk through here. Choose path 1, yes. Walk through our checkpoint. Walk on our lava. Oh no, ouch, we're dead. respawn, our health is set back to perfect. Everything's good. But we don't have the sword. Sword is gone. We'll work on respawning the sword and stuff like that in the next episode. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Our character respawns. You press escape. There's no errors. Everything is set up perfectly. Your lava is set up. Your spikes are set up. Your fireballs are set up. And now, from going forward, the game is like a little bit more cleaner, a lot less jank. And I know this was a long episode, but we fixed a lot of cool stuff. And I hope you join me on the next one. But for now, that's it. And I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.